I know, but I want to make it perfect. Even down to the choreographing of the guttural noises. Are you getting this?
Perfection is the enemy of fine.
I know.
I can confirm all of that was recordings.
You're listening to Robyn and Lucy Tackle a Wedding, a podcast where two comedians,
Robyn Perkins and Lucy Frederick,
plan an unconventional
and inverted commas,
wedding.
Not to each other.
No.
Definitely not. Should we start?
Let's do it.
All right.
How was your week, Robyn?
No,
for
okay,
fuck's
I
sake.
know.
Do you remember that bit where you said you weren't going to cough?
I know, it's because we've been laughing and that. Okay, professional. Consummate professionals.
100%.
Let's go.
How was your week, Robyn?
Actually, in all seriousness, we're starting now, right?
Yeah.
I had a very interesting week because for the pod, which I'm now calling it the pod.
I'd prefer if you didn't do that.
Okay. Oh, I need to calm down. Okay, Caitlin and I actually went to a wedding fair.
Oh, see, I never got to go to one of those because of the vids. Because in the lead up to my wedding, was the old vidaroni. So they were all cancelled. I did want to do it, and then you asked me to go with you, didn't you? And I couldn't.
And then I had to go with my fiance. So. I was like, this is gonna be. It was horrendous. I don't know why Caitlin wanted to go, because Caitlin, just to paint this scene, is not she is the opposite of a wedding fair.
Sure.
They actually have an unconventional in inverted commas wedding fair, but it's not in London. And we found it too late, so we couldn't go to that one.
Okay. So I've just remembered that I did go to something akin to a wedding fair with my husband just before we got married, and it was, I don't know if it was called an unconventional wedding fair, but it was something along those lines, and it was in a sort of country house somewhere in Sussex. And that
sounds pretty conventional.
It was pretty conventional. But honestly, I'd forgotten all about this, but it had things like their version of unconventional was like a donut wall. You know, like a wall where you put donuts on it. And they had, wait for it, wolves.
You can hire wolves.
You can hire
This
wolves.
is like, have you seen the show Selling Sunset? Where have you seen it? Which, by the way, it's like reality TV, but it's got the drama with house porn, combined. And the first season is amazing because you're like, there's a house I can't afford, and then you have a little house wank, and then you're like, oh, here's some really cheesy drama.
Sorry, did you just use the phrase house wank?
Yeah, have you ever done that where you go on Rightmove and put it up to 1.2 million?
I mean, yeah, but I just wouldn't use that phrase, but that's fine. You do you.
Okay. In any case, she had a birthday party where she got a zebra. But people can hire wolves for their wedding.
But
That's
so
ridiculous.
they are genetically, I think,
that's
25% wolf, because I don't think any more than that. And then you'd be eaten. I don't know. But yeah, and what was my favourite thing about it? I don't know. We'll Google it one day. But my favourite thing about it is that we walked into this house and then there were 3 massive wolves. But they were, you know how my Jack Russell
just
that you've met.
In a cage or just out?
No, they're just out. They're not in cages. They're not.
They're fucking wolves.
No, they're not. I can't. They're 25% wolf or thereabouts. The rest of them is German Shepherd.
That is so much worse.
Well, basically, you know how my Jack Russell that you've met lies on the floor with his feet in the air? They're just doing that, but they're massive, massive, massive wolves, and they're
I don't see the appeal.
Oh well, they are. I thought it was really funny, and they're just massive dogs, really, that look a bit wolfy, and you can have them at your wedding. I just sort of would work for your countryside wedding.
I don't want wolves.
No. Anyway, back to your wedding.
Right
fair.
now, no. So ours was at the expo. So yeah, you go in and it's like a massive warehouse of just every
conceivable wedding thing.
But from the most heteronormative point of view, and it was just immediately Caitlin walked in and she was like, oh my god, this is so much worse than I thought. And we always knew it would be this thing that we weren't we were never gonna walk around being like, ooh, that's a good idea. But yeah, it was, we walked in, there were some talks on how to plan your wedding. There was a fashion show, and Caitlin found the bar. So
she's so clever.
I know, she's like, I need beer right now. But it was, we actually, before we went, we we made a bingo board
Of course you did.
of all the things to check off.
Okay.
Like I can read some of the things that were on it, which I thought you would appreciate. Because we had to come up with 25 different things. Okay, so on the bingo board, things that we were looking for were a fancy pants name for white, something that is, quote, unconventional, but actually really fucking traditional. The phrase, cherish the moment.
Lovely.
Yeah. Somebody crying. Which is lovely. A bridal/ring-shaped food.
Lovely.
Got that one within moments. Something that is, quote, practical, but not. A high-pitched scream was on there. Something that is 3 times what it's worth. Seeing somebody at the wedding fair not engaged. That's fun.
Did you get all of these?
Oh, I think we got actually most of them. I think the only thing that we didn't, Caitlin added, she was like, put a couple getting into a fight.
Were you those people?
No, we weren't at all. We just got drunk. So first thing we did was went to a talk on how to make your wedding more budget friendly.
Oh, that sounds genuinely useful.
Right. It sounds genuinely useful. No, it was, I didn't learn anything from it. And then she pulled up a spreadsheet, which frankly made me want to throw up because it was so basic. And I am sorry, you cannot have a spreadsheet for a wedding without a drop-down menu or conditional formatting.
No, fair enough.
But the last thing I'll say on the wedding fair is the best bit, my favorite bit, is that there was a fashion show of wedding dresses. Oh my God. And all of the potential brides, they all gathered around and in masses. And then there were all these wedding dresses that all like the same, over and over and over. And
were there models diverse in shape, or were they all?
Oh no.
Okay.
No, I don't know. No. They were all like all stick figure, like size 6. Like there was just, which was very frustrating because we're all also looking around, going, there are, I'd say maybe 10 to 15% of the brides at this wedding fair were comparable to the
models.
Yeah.
And it's such an own goal, I think, on the part of designers. Don't understand it. I mean, that's a whole thing that we could talk about when we talk about the dresses and stuff like that. I just think it's bizarre.
It is. So that's why we basically spent the entire time we were there getting drunk, and then we ordered a cheesecake.
Nice work.
Thank you.
So there was nothing there that you went, huh?
Oh, actually, there was one thing as well, and I don't know if it's better or worse, but it's this thing that you can scan a QR code, and it's an app so that every time somebody takes a photo at your wedding, you can upload it, and they're all in the same place.
Yes, those are quite useful, I think, those sort of things. However, you can also do that on social media using a hashtag.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I know. But then the resolution goes down, but then there is compression in the apps as well. But anyway. Yeah, so I think that was the only thing that we were like, oh, all right. Yeah, but that was it.
I mean, that's disappointing, isn't it? But, an experience.
It was.
It was an experience.
And I had a lovely little date with Caitlin, which is...
That's nice. And you also got to feel sort of a bit superior to all those other people.
Yeah, because I was like, my spreadsheet is better than yours.
Yeah, such a nice feeling.
Yeah.
Shall we consult the guide?
Yeah.
Should we go to the sacred text?
Yes.
Since
we're starting every episode with where I should be in my wedding planning, we are now at 11 months before my wedding.
11 months to go till Robyn and Caitlin's wedding. And I found what I'm now calling the sacred text, but is actually a wedding planning timeline that I found on the internet. Right. Are you ready for month totally 11? Ready. Here we go.
Yes.
11 months out. Start researching florists, DJs, photographers, etc. and set up appointments if you can. Set up... Well, you're breathing.
I know, I was laughing because you said DJs.
Well, I'm going to do it again because shush,
fine.
Robyn.
All right. Sorry, cracking me up. Okay, go.
Good.
I'll be quiet.
Okay. 11 months out. Start researching florists, DJs, photographers, etc. and set up appointments if you can. Set a honeymoon budget. Find out what you need to do to get a marriage license. Decide who will be in your wedding party and formally ask them. Send save the dates. There we go.
Wow.
How many of those things have you done, Robyn?
All of them, -5.
So,
all right, let's go through it. Let's go through it.
Right.
Okay.
So we said we were going to talk about the guest list at the end of 12 months out. The last episode was get a guest list together. So we are yet to talk about that, and I feel like that is important. How is your guest list going, Robyn? Let's talk.
Are we doing that now? I feel like we should save that to the end because that is a
Yeah, sorry, I missed out. Photographers, DJs, and etc.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, should we cut that bit?
No, I think we should leave that in.
Oh. I don't like it because it makes me look foolish. Okay.
I think you should leave in every single thing you lot have done.
Shut up, Roman.
Shut up, Roman. What do you know? Sitting in a podcast booth all day long. A booth. Right, come on.
This is why they won't give us Roman. It has nothing to do with scheduling. Roman's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want.
Please
really
don't make me
mean
go in there.
They tell me to shut up all the time.
They're so mean to me.
Fair enough. Okay, here we go. Right.
Okay.
All right,
What are we
Robyn.
going to talk about today?
Start again. Welcome to right.
right.
Okay, here we go. How many of those things have you done on that list, Robyn?
Let's go through the list one by one because I feel like I'm missing 8.
Some of them. All right, the first one was start researching florists, DJs, photographers, and set up appointments if you can. So I was hoping that the wedding fair would bring you some of these fruits.
Okay,
but
so
apparently not.
First of all, do you really say DJ? Is that a British thing?
No, it's just a me thing. I'm an idiot.
Good. Okay, got it. Okay. We're getting a DJ from the Lakes District.
Or Robbie Williams says it like that.
The Lakes District?
No,
Oh, DJ.
CJ. Yes, that famous Robbie Williams song where he talks about the Lakes District. So he says, I don't want to rock DJ.
I think we found our jingle. I think we got it. You were recording, right? Can we just, we've got it. Nailed it. Okay, so, all right. Yeah. DJ, keep playing this. Okay, all right. So out of the list, so we have photographer, DJ, and florist, right? Yes. Those were the 3. Okay, so
and etc.
And etc. We have not found any. Okay, so florist, no. I don't know. We've talked about it because I hate the waste of flowers in weddings because it's like you're just there for like 3 days, and so Caitlin wants to ask the wedding that's in before us if they can just leave all their flowers. Which
From
is
the week
plan.
before?
No, well, if there's a midweek wedding, so it'll be like 4 days before. I don't know if they'll still be alive, right? So that was one
might look a bit
idea.
sad.
Yeah. Number 2, my idea is to actually start making from recycled paper that you're gonna throw out anyway. Make origami flowers for the tables.
Yeah, that's nice. I think that's. I mean, listen, the flowers get obviously they are at least recyclable flowers. They get composted.
I don't know if that's recycling. That's just composted.
Well, that's okay, isn't it? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's on a technical term. You're not recycling.
No, I suppose you're not making new flowers. But they are technically because they've been composted and then used to make new flowers.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's the feed. It's the circle of life. Can we leave that in, please?
I think that should be the theme tune.
That's the thing.
We'll come back to that.
I think, okay, but it's worth remembering. Because even if you don't have, because I know last episode you were talking about the fact that you're not having a lot of decoration because the place is beautiful already.
Yeah.
Which I think is completely reasonable and fine. I am a big fan of a bouquet though, that you've got to have a bit of a bouquet. And also you were talking about potentially having some sort of headpiece, and maybe that might be floral.
I think Caitlin's scared of my headpiece. I want a headpiece, but I think she's like, all right.
Well, have I told you about my headpiece that I wanted for my wedding?
No.
Well, and everybody told me not to do it because of my husband. So, and also a little bit because I would have looked like the Statue of Liberty. So you know how this.
I just have an image of you saying, I do, but holding up your bouquet, being like.
And being green. Yeah. No, so I wanted to have a kind of a headpiece that was sort of had it's going to sound rubbish, but like had sort of had spikes, like a headband with kind of, like the Statue of Liberty's got.
No, I'm picturing the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, sort of spikes like that. I really want, but because I had those kind of those kind of bishop sleeves. Even the dressmaking lady who made my dress was like, I think you're just going to look like the Statue of Liberty. But I really wanted like a head, like a kind of quite a dramatic headpiece. And all of my friends were like, your husband. Well, my friends are quite sort of traditional, I suppose, and they were like, "Well, that's weird." So I was like, "Oh, okay, I just won't have it." And also, my husband I love him very much, but he's quite a vanilla person, really. In that, anything out of the ordinary, he's a bit like, "Oh, weird." I don't know. It takes him a little while to get used to it. And I think if I'd walked down the aisle wearing some sort of unusual headpiece, he just would have focused on it, and the whole of our wedding ceremony, he just would have been staring at it instead of into my beautiful eyeballs. He would have been going, "What's that on your head? Why are you wearing that on your head?"
Now for your vows, spikes. I don't know. It's spikes.
Why is that on your head? Why is that on your head? He's like, So I opted not to do it. But I'm a big fan.
Do you regret it?
Moderately, not really. I mean, listen, as with a lot of these things, they seem really important in the lead up, and on the day, you just don't think about it. Like, I looked lovely. I was very happy with what I looked like. Blah blah blah. It was fine. I don't really. It's not like if only I could go back. There's not no. But that said, I think that you would look nice with like maybe just like a big flower, some sort of
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of flowers at weddings, and I do get the waist thing. I do get that. But I think you'll want a bouquet, won't you? Will you not want a bouquet?
Yeah, no, I do want a bouquet. We just haven't made that decision yet.
But also there's loads of other alternatives, aren't there? Like a friend of mine had a bouquet made of brooches.
Oh.
No. But paper flowers is also nice.
But I think I might do flowers. I might do flowers for the bouquet. And then also, like, the place where we're actually having the ceremony is a massive teepee. Kind of thing, and they have like flowers underneath it and like lining it and up the big pole and everything.
Oh, that are there anyway?
Well, no, I think you buy them, but that's what I think we want to leave. I don't know. We're behind. We are behind.
Haven't
there.
Right.
We
Florist.
haven't decided on the florist.
Not
next on the list. So 0,
DJ.
0 for 1 right now.
Okay.
0 for 1. DJ. 0 for 2. So we did. I don't know. We're trying to decide between a band and a DJ, and I spoke to somebody. We did speak to a band that Caitlin had found at the wedding fair, but then they were like, "Oh, here's our music, listen to it." But then when we talked to them, that's not who they're sending. They're basically a conglomeration of musicians that, depending on where you're getting married, will send a bunch of people. I'm like, so then it's pointless for me to listen to your music because that's not who's going to be playing if you come. Like every wedding band does a cover of Beyonce's "Crazy in Love." Every single one.
Yeah.
Right? And
so You're right, Roman.
Okay.
Look at Roman not giving a shit. What was I talking about?
Oh, yeah, DJ. Right. So it's
DJ,
not like the band, basically.
But it will be the songs. Those are the songs that they do, I guess. And it's the kind of, that's the style.
Yes. But at the same time, even then, when Caitlin was like, "Oh, what if we don't want this and we don't want," because she's very much against Mr. Brightside because it's a song about cheating. So she's like, I think it's inappropriate to have at a wedding.
Yeah,
but everybody fucking loves that song and everybody wants it.
So, as you will know, that was played at my wedding. I don't mind. That particular song I didn't mind. But we went through a list of things with the band. We had a band, which was very helpfully. We were really struggling to find musicians. That weren't like £1 million as well, and it's very difficult because as comedians we're all for paying your artists, but also come along.
Yeah.
So it was tricky, but and eventually my husband's nephew, who's a musician, helped us find a band, and they were really lovely people and really good. And we had email conversations with them, and they said, "We'll give us what song do you want for your first dance? We'll learn it." But then they didn't want to send us a recording of how they were going to play it, and that kind of bothered me because I was like, and they were like, "We'll just play it exactly how Bruno Mars plays it," and I was like, "Oh, but it won't be the same, will it? Because it's
you are not a Bruno Mars tribute act."
Yeah, that's weird. And then also we were like, so we didn't want Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
We didn't, and I didn't really want Robbie Williams actually either. Or there was certain.
That because he calls it the Lakes District.
Yes. Oh, and the DJ. No, there were certain things I didn't want, and they were like, okay. And then when they came, they did play those things, and they were like, "Oh yeah, sorry, our usual drummer couldn't come, so we have a replacement drummer, and he only knows like a certain set of songs, so we had to have."
That's frustrating.
Yeah, it was kind of frustrating. And listen, lots of people, my niece, one of my bridesmaids, loved them so much. I think she wanted to have a photo taken with them. She absolutely loved them. And they were a really, really good wedding band, if you know what I mean. Like a traditional wedding band. I do recommend them. But
it's like
they weren't exactly right for us, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, to not be able to cut out Michael Jackson songs should be possible. It's like if you're a comedian and you get booked for a 20-minute set, you should have more than 20 minutes of material. If you're at the point where you have to do all of your jokes because you only have 20 minutes of jokes, you should not be doing 20.
Yeah.
And I feel like with a wedding band, if you are booked to do this set and you can't cut out one artist,
I think that's
okay.
it. But also, it's difficult.
I don't know.
It's tricky.
Originally, we were going to do a DJ and save money, or just come up with a playlist to save money.
Yeah.
But I think if we have enough, we want a band. But at the same time, it's really tough because I don't want like a quote wedding band because I did. But at the same time, like I
would have liked. Do you know? I really wanted was like a bluegrass kind of band or something like that. But James didn't want anything themey, which I also get. And you know what? The plus side of having a classic wedding band who do Mr. Brightside, who do Robbie Williams. Yeah. Is that most people know those songs. Most people will get up and have a dance. Most people will get most people going. And that's kind of what you want, really.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and you're right. When people are there, because the site that we're getting married on is so big that we are worried that people will spread out across it. And then you'll have into little cliques. And like they'll have a group by the fire pits and the group by the teepee. And and so having a live band does make the focus there.
Yeah, totally. But
also with a playlist so that I can get some Sean Paul.
Sean Paul.
I love him. So honestly, if Sean Paul walked in the door right now and was like, "Listen, Robyn, I think you're fantastic. Will you drop Caitlin and marry me right now?" I'll be honest, our podcast would be called Robyn and Lucy Tackle Sean Paul.
Well, Robyn,
in a sexual way.
Robyn, you are not going to believe this.
Oh my God.
But we have Sean Paul.
Fucking love him so
you
much.
are a disappointment.
Oh my God. Whatever. I thank
really
you, Robyn, for arranging that. You've officially made it onto the guest list. Okay, so 0 for 2 on the wedding list. Let's keep going.
Right, crack on. What's the next one? Photographer.
Oh, we've done that.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 out of 3.
1 out of 3.
High five.
Yeah.
Oh,
was
so
awkward.
American. I have. We actually, per your recommendation, you were like, look, I think you should really invest in a photographer.
Because we talked about this, and it is another thing that is alarmingly expensive, isn't it?
Oh.
It's so much more expensive than you think it's going to be. You think, how is it that much money to take photos for a day? But it's the one thing that I think is worth spending money on. I really do. Yeah. Because you will never look at photographs more.
I mean, I do have a friend who was like, don't waste your money on photography, which is very interesting. But having heard both sides of it, I think yes. Roman, how much do you think a photographer would cost for a wedding in Wales?
How does Wales bring the price down?
I don't know. They still have pounds, though, just so you know. We're in the same currency.
I think for the full package, about $2,000.
Is that what you spent?
Spot on.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
wow.
I mean, we haven't decided on our package, so it'll be anywhere between $1,600 to $2,500. So around the $2,000. But he is like, you look at the Instagram and you're like,
yeah,
I should probably say his Instagram.
I think different. It's as it always comes down to. It's different people have different priorities, but I think you just never look at photos of yourself more, and it is a really big day. You're only going to do it once, blah, 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 all those things. Yeah. And so having some really amazing photos of you looking the best you're ever going to look.
And he's got okay, ready? Go on his Instagram. It is I_am_OJ, and his name is Oliver J. And they're really artsy, mood lighting, in a field with the wind and I'm excited for them. And apparently you do a pre-wedding shoot.
Wow.
To get more, which is great for Caitlin because she's very uncomfortable in front of a camera.
But what will be so good about, and that's why actually I think it's worth spending the money, because the two of you are not necessarily natural photograph fees.
What are you talking about?
I
didn't look at
There
the
we
camera.
go. The Robyn proves my point. The next podcast. Anyway, my point is that he
Robyn and
will
Lucy
be very
tackle modeling.
That's 100% what we should do. He will be very good at putting you at your ease and also taking sort of those atmospheric shots where you don't really realise that you're being photographed because you're just dancing or just having a lovely time, and he will be very good at taking you off and going, look at that, pretend to do this. And it will, rather than just like, smile at the camera, he won't, that's what you spend your money on.
Yes. No, that's true.
So
I'm very excited about it. But I
Good.
also want to just backpedal a little bit, and we can splice this in when you said you too are not comfortable in front of a camera.
Huh?
I'm very comfortable in front of a camera. I'm really good at modeling. You said I wasn't comfortable in front of a camera. I'd just like to point out that I am.
Uh-huh.
I am made for. I was in a movie. Okay, fine. So we have a photographer. 1 for 3.
Right, etc. is the other thing. So I would say that is.
What else is there?
Well, caterers. That's probably your other thing.
Oh, but that's on site.
That's on the
fine.
site.
Yeah,
So your venue
fine.
are providing that. What else is there? So there's music, there's photography, there's flowers. Yeah, I mean that's probably
Hair and makeup.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There
I
we go.
haven't done that. I know that.
Well, some people do their own, don't they?
Yeah.
I did.
All right, we'll just come back to that. Okay, so 1 for 4. All right, next thing on the list. Let's go. We're on a roll.
Okay.
here.
Well, we said we were going to go back to talking about the guest list last episode. Get a guest list together was one of the things you needed to do at 12 months out. Robyn, have you done that?
Okay. Yes. No, the guest list is horrible. So most people have like an A and a B, and also because we're getting married 5 hours outside of London, we can't have just an evening invite. Which, if anybody is listening in the States, they don't do this in the States.
Oh,
Yeah, in the UK, you have one group of people that go to the ceremony and the dinner and the drinks and everything, and then you have like a B list, which is like the night invite, and they just show up after the meal for drinks and dancing.
yes.
Which I think is brilliant. Like that's awesome that you can do that. So then you're like, oh, then I can just invite everybody because there are so many people. Yeah, but because I'm getting married in the middle.
Yeah.
of nowhere, I can't.
Interestingly, my James, my husband, was particularly against that sort of thing. He found that very difficult. That kind of like the sort of, what's the word? Like, kind of levels of friendship. He found that very hard.
Well, I'm finding it very hard because
Yes, but at least your spreadsheet is secret.
yes.
Whereas
So
if
I
you
have
are
it
an
right here,
evening-
and you can literally look at it. But
No, I know, but secret to your other guests.
No, it's true. We're not going to publish it. Here you go. Here's how you rank. But I literally, because you're ranking your friends, you're ranking all of your
Yes.
friends. And then because I don't know where to draw the line, and like people are like, I am very indecisive. And most people have A and B. I go down to G. I literally go down to G.
Yeah.
And it is, yeah.
So what is your limit? What is your guest number limit?
Well, this is the thing, is that it's kind of limited by the fact that we want everybody to sleep on site.
Yes.
And so while the site can hold 136, which is amazing,
Yep.
however, that's across 43 bedrooms.
Yes.
Because they are assuming that our friends have kids and they would like to bring them and we would like to have them there, and that is not the case.
Yes, well, that is the big thing. That's one of the first things you have to decide when
Yeah.
you put a guest list together is kids or no kids, isn't it? And you've gone
No kids.
You've gone no kids, which
But
I think is
obviously
right.
there are exceptions, and the problem is that like everyone is like, they're kids. So my exceptions are my nephews. Obviously they're going to be there, but I've already had somebody be like, oh, well, what are your nephews going to do during your wedding? I'm like, they're going to fucking be there. Of course they're going to be there. They're
Yeah.
my nephews. And how can you think that just because we're going, your kids that I have never met are not invited to my wedding? Of course my nephews are.
Yeah,
And
of
that, I
course.
mean, that one's a bit obvious. But then I have another friend whose kid just got diagnosed with autism and is not at the place where he can be left alone without his parents
Right.
at all. And so then I'm like, but she's also my best friend. Like I've known her since I was 5.
I think there have to be exceptions. I think a lot of people, so this, as you know, this is pretty much what I did for my wedding, which was, we said, we can't have everybody's children because we are old. This is James's second marriage.
Sounds. I love it when you do it in your voice. By the way, like somehow it sounds. Yes.
Because it was his second marriage, we have a lot of friends who have children, and we worked out that if we had all of our friends and all of their children, we would have nearly 50 children at our wedding.
That is disgusting.
That is not okay. That's more than a primary school class.
Yeah.
And that's an awful lot. And then you've got to feed these people, and all of these things. Listen, and again, and in an ideal world, I think definitely James had this kind of idea that we would just be able to say, hey, bring whoever and it would all be fine. But it just doesn't work like that. They are expected to be fed, all of these things. So I think it is perfectly fine to say no children. And it's also perfectly fine to have the children that you are closest related to. Like, obviously, my stepdaughter was at my wedding, and I've got a pretend sister. It's a very long story. Her 2 children were at my wedding, and we also had. My stepdaughter had 2 friends. She invited 2 friends to her wedding.
Which is
to the wedding, her wedding. Because it was sort of her wedding in many ways. So that's how we did it. And actually an awful lot of people were like, oh, I can't bring my kids. Oh no, what a shame. Yes. And dumped them pretty quick.
The most interesting thing about it is that most of the UK people that we have invited are like amazing.
Yeah.
We don't want to bring them.
No, they ruin everything.
Yeah. And they want to like come and drink and have a night out. Absolutely. And like 2 of our friends actually have not only already booked childcare with one parent, but they've booked both of their parents in case one of them drops out. So they've got like super backup. They were like, we are coming and we are drinking and we are not putting our kids to bed. We are not worrying about it. We're done. Whereas the US people are like, but I know I get it that it's harder because they're traveling, and to be away from your kids for like 2 nights is one thing, but like overseas.
Absolutely. And, and it is that thing of, because if you are a UK based family and you're going away Friday to Sunday, you're asking your parents or your friend, whoever's having those children, to have them over the weekend. Whereas your US-based family, they can't come for 2 nights. They've got to come for a week, really, realistically. And that means asking a grandparent or a friend to have your children for a whole week, a week that involves potentially school, all of the admin that comes with having a child. So it is a bigger ask.
I know. But I do think
you gave them over a year to prepare for this.
I have. I know.
And it is, as we will always come back to, your wedding. And so people have to just go, okay, I will find a way to do this for this one time. I will find a way to do this in the way that you need me to do it. Or they will go, I'm sorry, I can't come.
I think what's really sad, though, is I think that a lot of my US friends are actually starting to be like, I don't think I can come because of the kids. And that's crushing because, like, my best friend with her were like, look, whatever, like, I'm not going to make you leave your kid that's on the spectrum when you can't, and so we're trying, but also, I mean, she doesn't travel a lot. I've been here for 13 years and she's never come over,
right?
So we're trying really hard, but then you have like another friend of mine so now she's coming without her husband, who I've known for
20
years
and
because of it. You have another friend, because I have like 3 or 4 really close friends in the States, and I, to be honest, don't know if any of them are going to come because of kids. They all have kids.
Thing. Yeah, no, it's really tricky, and it is really hard. One of the things that we initially planned to do, but actually never did, because of COVID and all of those things, and the children thing, and blah blah blah, and just general numbers, we planned to have a sort of another wedding celebration, like a kind of in like a local pub that people who couldn't come to the wedding could come to. We actually never ended up doing it, but have you considered doing an American sort of garden celebration?
And we definitely are, but it just kind of feels like I don't want people to just be like, oh well, then I don't need to go to the wedding, because the idea was like to bring everybody together, and now it's just kind of like, oh well, I guess it's just like my UK friends, and then I don't know. And I guess like I would be inclined to make more exceptions.
Sure.
But I think Caitlin is not. And she's been very much like hard and fast. No, we made the rules. But again, that's
Sure.
Partially because she's neurodiverse and on the spectrum.
Yeah,
She
I
make
get
a
it. I
rule,
get
you
it.
don't.
And also, she doesn't want to field questions from other people
Yeah.
who are UK based going, oh, but other people want their children. That, and that certainly is something I recognise, that we had a couple of people that were like, look, either I bring my kids or I can't come. And my husband was very much like, okay, can't bring the kids then. Whereas I was like,
Yeah.
I was Caitlin in this. I was a bit more like, we said no kids. And James was like, I just want these people to be there. And also, he doesn't really, he's less bothered by other people's.
I know. But people are
issues.
different around kids. Like they are.
Yeah.
If they bring their kids, then it becomes a family, and it's not a family thing. Like it's not. We don't want that vibe because of them.
Well, don't have children then.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to move on a little bit from the kids versus kids
okay,
thing,
fine.
'cause we talked about it a lot.
All right.
So, because the other thing we want to talk about is, who's on that list? Because one of the things that a lot of people come up with when they're putting a wedding guest list together is some people have really big families, like a really big family, and they're far-flung family members, cousins and what have you, that you see very little. And sometimes those people end up getting a place at your wedding over people that you see regularly.
All the time.
Your friends, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera.
I think we've actually managed that balance pretty good. And I also know that a lot of I'm at the advantage that a lot of my family in the States that I don't see often just won't come.
Yeah.
Like my uncle he's just not because he wouldn't want to be there. If it was in the States, he would, but he's just not going to come. And like, I'm not offended that he's not going to come, But so I think we've managed although I think Caitlin is a bit more back and forth about the family thing because obviously she's in the UK, but both of us have relatively small families. So it's fine.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I'm struggling with the most is where to draw the line at friends. Because I have a lot of friends who are like really looking forward to your wedding, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, we had that.
Yeah, and it's like it's a numbers thing, but at the same time, like, where do you? This is why I have like up to a G list because I'm like, you're literally the next person on.
I think this is a real symptom of your people-pleasing tendencies. It really is. So I think I've told you this before. As I mentioned last episode, we had an initial plan which was to get married in the local pub, which we then had to cancel because of COVID, and we ended up getting married in a big field. We actually had fewer people in the field, the big space field, than we had initially planned to have in the pub. Partly because my husband, like you, is even though he's a obstreperous old git, is actually quite a people-pleasing person. And every day he would come home from work and tell me of more people he'd invited to this wedding in this tiny, tiny pub. So he just invited, and so we had people who were tentatively invited to the first date who were then not invited to the actual date, and that was awkward. That was awkward because I've since had to have conversations.
Did they get?
With people,
Oh my god!
Where they were like, "How was your wedding?" Like I saw the pictures. It looked very nice, and there was this real elephant in the room of the fact that they were sort of save the date mentioned.
I mean, it
for
happened
the
last
first date.
night. It happened last night where it was one person is invited and another person is not, and the person who isn't invited, like, we used to be a lot closer and I was at their wedding but I don't feel like we're close to it, so it was very awkward. And one of them was like talking about and then it was like and it's very, because your friendships change. Like, we got engaged in 2020. That is 2 years ago, and we're still not getting married for a year. So some of the people that were on my immediate list I'm just not that close with anymore. Like, I don't see them. We don't talk ever. We don't. And so then you're like, oh, but that changes. Whereas, like, I know with us, like, when we got engaged, I didn't tell you because we weren't that close.
No, that's it. Like we said last week, I found out on Facebook. Absolutely. And as you mentioned earlier, you were invited to my wedding about 2 months before it happened.
I know. I'm not offended. I mean, Roman got his own, but like 15 months before.
But yes, you're right. Friendships do change over time, and then also I think you find that people that were an integral part of your wedding in 5 years' time, that it changes that way as well. I'm told, because that's life, isn't it? Our sort of relationships are cyclical.
I mean, similarly, which kind of leads into the next thing, is my sister added on a bridesmaid that she had only recently became friends with very late, and she grappled with it because she was like, oh, but I've only known this girl like a short amount of time, and but I don't, and ended up adding her on, and was glad that she did.
Yeah.
But I think it's also like the wedding and what you're going through and what you're experiencing in that lead up and directly after in your relationship. It's like those people should be there.
Yeah, I think so. And also, I think it's just my advice is you have to hold fast. It is your wedding. And I know that you said, that at the moment it's the last thing it feels like, but it really is your wedding. And you just have to be like, nope. And you have to smile through the awkwardness. Like, those conversations that people go, oh, like, blah, blah, blah. When's your wedding? Also, you'll find anyone who has been married understands.
Yeah.
Like another comedian who we both know got married relatively recently, and I was talking to her about her wedding, and she was like, I'm really sorry, like we just don't have the space, like I'd love to have invited you. And I was like, please don't worry, I know exactly what the situation.
And if you have not gotten married, the best advice I can give, if you are invited to a wedding where you're like, I feel like I should go, don't go. Just don't go.
Just don't do it.
Like if you are like, because I wish if some people that are like, I don't know if I can, just don't come.
Yeah.
I'm not offended. We'll just be like, I would love to grab a drink with you. Absolutely. And if that drink doesn't happen, then you shouldn't be.
You shouldn't have been on the list in the first place. No, 100%.
Yeah.
We're going to be slightly mindful of time, Robyn. So I do want to push forwards.
Okay, fine. I'm just saying, it's a big thing, and I feel like I know you want to push forward. Okay. All right. Final thing.
I wanted to talk about your save the dates.
Oh yes.
And then
And then we're gonna
save dates. And I also wanted to ask about the wedding party, because the wedding party is one of the things that you have to that was on the list today. But very quickly, tell us about your save the dates, Robyn, and why.
Sorry.
Tell us about your save the dates and why it's very much a Robyn.
Okay, they have Lego people on them, by the way, which I will, if you will manage to share a screenshot of it. So it's like a Robyn and a Caitlin Lego people, which is her, right? It's a cute picture of the two Lego people. But on the back, it actually has, I got reviewed at the Edinburgh Fringe this year, and my show is very much about the love story of Caitlin and I, but then also me challenging a scientist, because obviously. So on the Save the Date, I actually included a quote from the review, which was her idea, I will say. So although it says, save the date for our festival wedding, we are planning a celebration of, quote, the blossoming romance of Perkins and her partner against their initial misgivings to be with each other. The Scotsman, 2022. Which, the thing is, it was her idea, but everyone's like, well, that's very Robyn-centric. I'm like, but you don't get it. Oh, so yeah, that was there. But the amount of people that don't RSVP either, you have to chase them up. There would be have a QR code. Just answer the, but yeah, so the save the dates were out. Big mistake we made was not addressing them individually.
Oh, yeah.
We just emailed the image and the thing to people. So now people are assuming that they're bringing spouses when they weren't supposed to bring spouses. We had to then make the backpedal and be like, you can't have kids. It's a mess. So what we should have done is address them all individually so that people were very clear that you can't bring the person you love.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't do that.
Yeah, we really fucked up on that one.
And you should have said the kids thing really early on as well.
Yeah, we really should have. And now I've overly said it to some people. So some of my friends are like, I get it, Robyn. You hate our kids. It's fine. You don't need to keep bringing it up. And I was like,
oh, phew. At least it's clear.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to talk about that's on the list before we finish is the wedding party. So this is who's going to be, this is bridesmaids, maids of honours, best men or best lady people. Yeah. What's going on there?
Because if you're intimidated by ranking your friends in the guest list, the bridal party is like that to the extreme.
100%.
It's like, who are your best friends? Yeah. So, which I hate. But the thing is, before
who do you want to buy a dress for? That is the...
I'm not buying a dress for anybody. They can buy their own fucking dresses. But... But I just hate it. And it used to be that I had a very clear list before I even met anybody 15 years ago. I was like, the only thing I do know about my wedding is who was in my bridal party, which is weird that I knew that. But now I am so against ranking my friends. I basically have my sister as my maid of honor. I don't know if I formally asked her.
Yeah, that's my favorite bit of the wedding guide this month.
Ask them.
Is formally ask them. I feel like that means that you need a solicitor present.
Probably. But I think that's it. I'm only gonna have one person.
I think that's it's a shame because I love the getting ready bit with all the bridesmaids and the stuff like that.
I think I just might invite some friends.
Yeah.
whoever I'm feeling on the day. I might be like, hey, do you want to like come and get ready with me? And then they just come and like have
Hang
makeup.
out, have Prosecco, have a bit of makeup.
Yeah, do your own makeup but in my little farmhouse and do it. But I don't like giving somebody a role is just, ugh. I don't know how that's going to influence speeches, but that's another time.
Well, there's that, but no, I think that's fine. I think that's okay. Good. Like, I think more people should do that. More people should do that because some people have like 10 bridesmaids, don't they? Like, see some pictures on Pinterest and stuff. People got like 10 bridesmaids. For very similar reasons, I had 2. I had 2 grown-up ones because they were the women that I was too afraid not to ask. And then 3 children, which are the sort of the closest children to me, not physically, like relationshipally. So that's what I did. And there are other people that I would have probably liked to have had, but then it becomes into if you have that person, well then you have to have that person. And those are the things that really do cause problems amongst women. Like I've got friends who have fallen out and not spoken to people because they weren't a bridesmaid, where like 2 other women who she thought were like, people think that it's this ranking thing, and it really. It is such an interesting thing. I've been a bridesmaid and I've planned hen parties and stuff like that, and it gets so weirdly competitive amongst these women.
Territorial. Yeah. And I mean, like, the thing is that, we should have an undercover podcast recording where we just go into the details of it. I should have like a subscription where you're like, okay it's this person. We're going to just give names. We're going to start bitching.
Yeah, but then how are you going to stop people
from listening?
From subscribing?
I know. There's no way of doing it. This is why I asked Roman, because it's just horrendous.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna have to cover.
We're gonna have to pick this up another time. But I think that's. I think you've done very well. Apart from the fact that you haven't booked a florist, a makeup artist, or a DJ, or a wedding band, I think you've done very well for 11 months to go.
Oh, jeez.
11 months to go, Robyn, until you say I do. Join us next time where we'll be 10 months until Robyn's wedding, and working out things like, for example, I think we're going to talk about the wedding dress next time, aren't we?
Oh, I have a really good wedding dress story. It's like pretty epic. Roman, you're going to cry. You are going to cry. It's a really good story.
Roman can't cry.
I will bring the Kleenex.
Oh, that's very sweet. We got blue roll.
Yeah, we got.
It's fine.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. I've been Robyn H. Perkins. That's what I am on all the socials. Robyn with a Y. Robyn H. Perkins.
Yeah, I'm Lucy Frederick. You can find me on social media as well. But apart from that,
we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Hear you next time. Listen next time.
You will hear. We won't see you.
It'll be a very one-sided conversation.
You will hear us next time.
Talking to each other.
If you want to.
And we won't know that you're listening.
Bye.